The most important time of the year for LEGO investors is fourth quarter, also known as holiday period. This is the October, November, December period every year where deals are incredible and you can get great opportunities. Selling ramps up because people are out there trying to buy LEGO sets for holiday gifts and for different things, and everything just really gets a whole lot busier for LEGO investors. This is a time of year where the opportunity is at an absolute maximum. And holiday season for LEGO investors also coincides with the time of the year where most of the LEGO sets retire. This is the December period where tons of LEGO sets leave the shelves, so we have the ultimate opportunity to buy LEGO sets that are retiring at incredible prices, and then also to sell incredible sets that maybe we bought last year or the previous year as investments. So Q4 is an incredible time for LEGO investors, but how should you actually be preparing for Q4? How should you approach it? Because you're going to need to be ready to buy sets and have your cash flow and different things ready so that you can actually go and invest in the great opportunities. If you are ready to sell inventory, you're also going to need to be ready for that. You're going to need to create your listings, get everything up and going on the selling side. So there are a handful of different considerations here, and I just want to jump in and offer some quick tips when it comes to preparing for and getting through your Q4 as a LEGO investor. Now let's just break this down and talk about both the buying and the selling, and we'll start off with the buying because it is just such a fun time of the year when you are seeing incredible deals throughout October, November, and December when it comes to actually buying sets. And when it comes to preparing for that, of course, first thing is to get your cash flow in hand, right? You're going to need to know how much you can invest in sets over the next couple of months and start preparing that cash flow. Now, this is going to involve a couple of different things. Firstly, if you have inventory from previous years to sell so you can get some of the cash back, you can reinvest it in new inventory this year. You're going to want to start preparing to sell that inventory. We'll talk about selling in a moment. But if there are other ways that you want to prepare your cash flow, for example, if you're investing new money in LEGO sets, then you're going to want to start getting that cash in place before you expect the great deals to begin. And sometimes with LEGO, October can be just as good as November when it comes to incredible deals. So that means getting your cash flow in place before we even get to October if you do plan to go heavy on buying. Now, this also means if you want to buy your inventory on credit cards, because that's a great way to get points and get free travel and different things, you should be applying for your credit cards before you expect those great deals to hit. And again, we can't snooze on October here as LEGO investors, because in the last couple of years, we've seen incredible deals in October, and the retailers are getting more and more competitive, and they're dropping prices ahead of time to try and get ahead of the competition. That can be good for us as LEGO investors because we get great deals all through Q4 beginning in October. So preparing your cash flow in advance of those deals is very important, so you are ready to go ahead and capitalize on them when you see them. Now, the next thing that I would say about getting ahead of those deals is make sure your hit list is ready, and that is where you know what sets you want to invest in for the year. I like to do my analysis on my LEGO investments before I even get to Q4. I want to know exactly what sets I'm looking for. Now, the reason for that is because it gives me extra discipline. It helps me to avoid the FOMO and the excitement of something dropping in price, because during Q4 we see a lot of price drops. I don't want to be driven by price drops when it comes to my decision making. I want to be driven by logic and by what is a good winning LEGO investment based on my analysis. And so I look into those sets before I even get to Q4. I know which sets that I'm buying. I've added them to an actual hit list of sets, and those are the ones that I'm looking for when the deals begin. Now, that does not mean that I'm going to ignore every other set that's not on my hit list completely, because of course I can pivot, I can adapt in different things, but at least I have a plan and I know generally what direction I want to go in. And then if we see 50% off a set like the T2 camper van last year at Walmart, then I can do some further analysis on the fly, even if it wasn't on my hit list, and I can decide if at that price it is worth buying or not. But again, we need to have some direction. We need to know that we're not buying just because the price dropped, and that is why I like to research my sets before we even get into Q4 and build out my hit list. Now, the next thing you're going to want to do before we ever get to the great deals in Q4 is to make sure that your buying accounts on all the retailer websites are all set up. You know your passwords, you are a member of any of the loyalty membership programs that you want to join, and all of those things are set up and ready to go. You don't want to have buying problems when great deals happen, and sometimes the Q4 great deals can happen very quickly. They can disappear and sell out very quickly. You're going to want to get ahead of that, so make sure that your buying accounts, Amazon, Target, Walmart, Kohl's, wherever you plan to buy your inventory, make sure your accounts are all set up. So now you have your cash flow ready, you have your buying accounts ready, and you have your hit list. You know what sets you're looking for. Next is, of course, monitoring the deals, making sure that you don't miss incredible discounts. Now, there are a handful of different ways that you can pay attention to great deals throughout Q4. One of the big ones is to make sure you're in one of the communities. We have a free Facebook group. I definitely recommend grabbing the link in the description down below, because when the deals start to happen, people will start to discuss the sets and discuss the deals inside of those communities. But secondly, and most importantly, you're going to want to be able to track the deals. When a price drops on one of your favorite retailers, you are going to want to be able to see that the price has dropped. So you're going to want to track those deals. Now, if you're in the US, on our website, we're about to drop a massive deal tracking page where you're going to be able to see all of the best discounts on Lego sets. Whenever the prices drop on a set, where are the best deals on all of the different Lego sets? You can actually filter for different Lego sets. You can see all the current deals on all of those sets. And then you're going to be able to add this to your favorites on your internet browser and just check this when you want to get great deals on Lego sets. Now, this is coming very, very soon. It is almost ready to be dropped. So if you want to be the first to know, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell and you'll hear the update soon. Now, another place you could monitor for great deals will be something like Slick Deals, which is a website that monitors great deals across the internet. It includes other items, not just Lego, but that is another place where you could go to check it out. So in addition to regularly checking these pages of current deals, you should also set up deal tracking. That is really taking it to the next level. And this is where you would set up to get notified by email or to your phone whenever the price drops on the sets that you are watching out for. So different places you can do this. Camel.com does it for Amazon prices, and Keepa is another one that does the same thing for Amazon. And then there are other paid services where you could go and sign up to get notified. But this is a really good way to get ahead of the curve. Make sure that you are first to know whenever a set gets discounted. Okay, so now we're starting to get really prepared for this Q4 holiday season when it comes to buying. You have set up your cash flow. You've set up your buying accounts. You have your hit list of sets that you're looking for, and you know how to track the incredible deals as they start to happen. And you're inside of the Facebook group to engage in those discussions. And some other very quick tips that I would share for buying in Q4. Firstly is to move quickly because things can sell out quite fast, especially the best deals. Whenever we see a 50% off an incredible set on Walmart or something like that, they can sell out within a day or two. So you're going to need to be ready to move quickly and make quick decisions. But while we need to be ready to make quick decisions and move fast, we also need to avoid making poor decisions and allowing our emotions to kind of make us do things that we wouldn't otherwise do. And this is a difficult one, and honestly it's one of the more advanced tips that I could really give to Lego investors, is to really try to keep some discipline in your buying strategy. Try not to buy sets that you didn't plan on buying, and just in general try to stay disciplined and stick to the game plan. Now, another quick tip is that in-store deals can often be really, really good. So you're going to obviously do a lot of buying online, and the deals online can be great, but also some retailers have special deals if you go into the store. And not only can going to the store sometimes give you better deals, it can also help you to get around quantity limit problems, because as Lego investors, you may want to buy multiple quantities of a set, and maybe you hit your limits on the different retail websites. So going in store can often help you to get more quantity of the sets that you're trying to source. So those are the major things we need to prepare for when it comes to buying in Q4. What about selling? If you are ready to sell some Lego inventory during Q4, what are some things that you should keep in mind? Now, one of the biggest things here is making sure that you have all of the supplies you need before you start to sell your inventory. That means getting the boxes that will work for the shipping that you're going to be doing. That means having your printers and different things for your labels ready on a shipping scale. You don't want to be making a sale and then realizing you don't have the box that you need to ship it out. That's going to cause delays for the customer. It's going to cause headaches for you. It's going to take more time than it should to ship that set out. And with just a little bit of prep work, your shipping of your inventory, honestly, should be very, very simple and straightforward. This is something that used to be difficult way back before we had a lot of tools that we have today. And honestly, right now, to ship out orders from your home, it should be very, very simple. But only if you prepare for it and you make sure you have all the supplies that you need. And don't skimp on the supplies either. It is worth investing in good packing tape, in good supplies and good equipment to make sure that you can seamlessly ship out your orders. And just give yourself enough time to get those things in place before you start to sell. And then the second tip here is really when you start to order your shipping supplies and you have your boxes and your tape and different things, make sure you set it up in somewhere in your home where you can quickly access it, because you don't want to have to reset it up every day if you can avoid it. Now, if you're selling from a small space and you can't leave your shipping scale and your laptop and printer out on the kitchen table because you're going to have dinner that evening, then of course you're going to have to pack it all away and then open it up again tomorrow. But if you can find a little location in your home or in your workspace to leave a shipping station always set up throughout Q4 when you are making a lot of sales, it can really reduce the time it's going to take you to fulfill your orders. So if you have a simple station where you have a laptop, a printer, a shipping scale, and quick access to your tape and your packing supplies and different things, it can really, really help to simplify things. So I definitely recommend getting that ready before you start to increase your sales during Q4. Now, tip number 3 for selling in Q4 is is really to try to be efficient and quick with your order fulfillment. And the reason for that is because mail in Q4 can slow down. There's going to be a massive increase in the number of packages that are being sent around the world. That can mean that the post office and the carriers can be overwhelmed sometimes. So if you want to make sure that your stuff gets to your customer on time and you don't have return requests and you don't have poor feedback, then making sure that you fulfill quickly is important, because all we can really do is take care of our end of the bargain. And by shipping quickly, you're making sure there is no delay on your side, and then any delay that happens with the carrier, it will at least still arrive to the customer on time. So getting things done quickly on your end can really help to reduce any delays. Now, for each person this will be different, but if you could fulfill orders and get them out the same day, for example, if an order comes in the morning, fulfill it right away, and then the post office take it that afternoon, that's going to be a great experience for the customer. Or if you fulfill your orders later in the afternoon, then trying to make sure the post office pick it up the next day is definitely the best approach. And we don't want 2 or 3 days of the inventory sitting around after it's been purchased by a buyer and you haven't yet shipped it out. Now, expanding on that idea of fulfilling orders quickly is the broader concept of customer support, because in Q4 you want to make sure that you have good customer support. You need to remember that your buyers have a lot of options and competition ramps up during Q4, so other sellers are coming online with their inventory, and you need to make sure that you are on top of your game when it comes to the experience that the buyers get when they deal with you. That involves responding to questions quickly, that involves fulfilling orders quickly like we talked about. That also involves making sure that your listings are accurate and they fully call out any defects or any damage to the box and all of those different things. Essentially anything you can do to make sure that your customer has a good experience, it becomes even more important during Q4 because the competition tends to ramp up during that time. Now lastly, for Q4 selling, you do need to expect some returns, because Q4 is a time when people buy gifts and there could be a little bit of a bump in returns, people who request returns to you. Now, if you sell on eBay, you can control some of that, but if you sell on Amazon, a lot of the times you're going to have a little bit of a bump in returns during that time period. Now, this is not the end of the world, of course. Returns is just part of the game. It does not need to be a big deal. The good thing for Lego investors is that the price has gone up over time, and so even if a return comes back damaged, a lot of the time you can still sell it for either a profit or at least break even if you just go on eBay and list it there as damaged. So don't sweat returns. It is not a massive deal. It's totally worth it because the volume of great sales that you're going to have is also going to multiply considerably in Q4. You can move incredible numbers of inventory during this time period with toys and with Lego, so the returns do not need to be a big deal. Now, quick bonus tip if you are an Amazon FBA seller is to make sure that you are sending your inventory into the warehouses in advance, because of course Amazon FBA sellers, this is where we leverage Amazon to actually send our inventory to the customer. We ship it in bulk to Amazon before we want to sell it, and sometimes there can be delays in the inventory getting checked into Amazon's warehouses during this busy time. So if you are an Amazon FBA seller, make sure to give a lot of wiggle room to actually ship your inventory into Amazon before you expect to make those sales. So there we have it, folks. Q4 is an incredible time of the year for Lego investors, both for buying and for selling. We do need to be prepared on both accounts. We do need to be ready for our buying strategy, making sure we're availing of those deals when they happen. And we also need to be ready for selling and having our supplies, having everything in place so we can tap into the higher volume of buyers that are out there. And we can move a lot of inventory very, very quickly. Now, don't forget, in the description down below, I'm going to have a link to that free Facebook group where we have the discussion about Lego investing. And make sure to get in there, because during Q4 every year, that group is really, really helpful. So with that, I hope you found this useful. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next one.